Can you come to the mic, please? Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Brown, Chief of the Alexandria Police Department. This BROWN. We're here today to give you an update on the incident that occurred this morning here in Alexandria. And let me repeat, if I can, some of the facts that we do know at this point. Before I start, though, I want to say that this incident is not an active incident. The city is safe. We have an active investigation going on for the incident that took place this morning, but I want to reassure the community here in Alexandria that this city is indeed safe. We will continue to work with the investigation as it moves forward. The facts as we have it this morning, again at 0709, 9 minutes after 7 o'clock, we received a 911 call of an active shooter at Simpson Park here on Monroe in Alexandria. Our units responded and were on scene within 3 minutes. The officers received fire from a suspect, and they returned fire, and that part of the investigation is ongoing as we speak. We came to find out that at this event was a practice session for a baseball team involving some representatives from Congress or some employees from Congress. There were Capitol Police individuals, contingent on scene, and they also engaged with the subject, and I'll let the Chief of the Capitol Police respond to that. The emergency medical personnel that responded to the scene from the Alexandria Fire Department, as well as officers from the Alexandria Police Department, provided treatment to a number of individuals on scene. Those individuals, we know that 5 of them were transported by public emergency medical sources to hospitals within the area to deal with a variety of injuries and treatment. At this point, the Alexandria Police Department, because this case involves the assault on a federal officer, the Federal Bureau of Investigation will be taking over the investigation, and we welcome our work with the FBI. We are embedded and are assisting the FBI along with other agencies that are trying to deal with this particular scene and this investigation of this incident. That said, I would also like to say our gratitude to the allied agencies that responded to this scene. We had individuals from the Alexandria Sheriff's Department, of course the Alexandria Fire Department, who were initial response, helped us a great deal in trying to manage this thing. And quite frankly, I couldn't be more proud of the men and women that were involved from the Alexandria Police Department. They did an outstanding job, in my opinion, from what I hear so far. At this point, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Chief Verderosa from the Capitol Police to come up and talk a little bit about their efforts in this area and what they're doing. Chief?
Thank you, Chief. I would like to first start out by thanking the Alexandria Police, Sheriff's Office, Fire Department, the FBI, ATF, and all of our federal law enforcement and local partners who assisted in this response. Certainly, it's a very large response, and it's going to take a while to sort through all of the details. My units of our Dignitary Protection Division were on site with Congressional Protect D when we had when the incident occurred. They did engage in gunfire with the suspect and were assisted by the Alexandria Police. The officers, the United States Capitol Police officers who were injured, are in good condition and have not suffered any life-threatening injuries at this point. As we get more information, we'll be working through the FBI and our local partners with the Alexandria Police to provide more details as they become available. But at this point, I'd like to turn it over to the FBI.
Good morning, Tim Slater. I'm the SAC, the Special Agent in charge of the Washington Field Office. And I just want to reiterate what the chiefs have said. This is a secure community at this point. It's an active investigation. However, the security of the community is a paramount, and I want to reassure you that that's the case. So we got involved around 9:30 this morning. Initially, we responded with our National Capital Response Squad from the JTTF per our protocol, and they were assisting our state and local partners. Once it was confirmed that we had a member of Congress that was involved in the incident, we have taken the lead. However, this is a joint command, and this is a joint investigation with our state and local partners to include who's been at the microphone already, and our partners from ATF, Alexandria County and Alexandria City, and Capitol Police as well. I will take a couple questions in just a second, but I want to turn it over to the governor for a second for a couple comments.
Thank you. Let me first of all, thoughts and prayers, everybody affected by today's incident. I want to congratulate the effort of the state, local, and federal. We're all here together. Early this morning, state police and VDEM were activated. I want to thank everybody who's involved, but I specifically want to thank all the first responders. I have been told that members of the neighborhood and the community came out to be of assistance. This is truly an extraordinary effort, and I also want to compliment the U.S. Capitol Police for their quick action, and through their heroic efforts and others, they saved a lot of lives today. We do everything we can to keep our communities safe, and I once again want to thank all the law enforcement personnel and first responders who were involved today. Thank you.
Agent Slater, can you step to the microphones?
What can you tell us about the suspect?
Is it your feeling at this point that this was, what you see, number one, a deliberate planned attack, and are you investigating this now on the basis it could be an act of terrorism by an individual?
Ma'am, it's too early to say. It's really raw at this moment. We're just at the initial part of the investigation, so it's too early to say. We're working it both ways right now.
When you
Sir,
say
what
you're
do we
working
know
it
about
both
the
ways, so
gunman at
is
this
one of the
point?
angles you're exploring, investigating, that it could be an act of terrorism?
We're exploring all angles.
And do you have any information, it is said that there may be a tentative ID, even if you can't say specifics, are you beginning to narrow down on the identity of the shooter?
Yes, we are.
Sir, can you
Was
tell
this
us
an
anything else
assassination
about
attempt,
the
sir? Was this
gunman?
an assassination
Do you know
attempt?
who he is?
No, it's not an assassination
Do
attempt.
you know who he is?
We're still working on it.
Sir,
Are
can
you
you tell us
certain that
anything
members
else
of
about the
Congress were
gunman?
being
Is he an
targeted?
American? Is he former military?
We'll
Does he
not
live in the
confirm
area?
that. No, sir.
Are you certain members of Congress were being targeted, though? Was this an intentional attack on
Too early to tell if they were targeted or not.
What can you tell us about whether anyone has suffered life-threatening injuries, and can you tell us about the condition?
Don't know. Everybody was transported to the hospital and is receiving medical treatment. Just don't know about the life-threatening or not.
What kind of member of Congress said that the shooter asked, are these Republicans or Democrats? Can you say yet whether you think there is a political motivation in this?
No, not aware of that at all.
Do you have information on the weapons?
No information on the weapons. No, don't know yet.
So you're saying that this could have been random?
Don't know. Still, it's really early in the investigation.
Assassination attempt. How do you know that yet?
I don't know any of those facts, right? It's too early to say one way or the other.
Can you give us the condition of the suspect? The suspect was taken to the hospital. Do you know his condition and also the general condition of the officers who were shot?
I think the officers are doing better. I'm not sure about the suspect at this time.
Is suspect talking to law enforcement?
Say again?
Is there any information on those shootings?
No, ma'am. Not at this point.
Was it that the Capitol Police officers, the security detail, was here with Congressman Scalise in this incident? Can you just give us a sense of the importance of the fact that there were armed officers on the scene when this started?
Members of a dignitary protection, yes, they were here as a protection team.
And the difference it made?
I'm sure it made a significant difference.
Sir, is that suspect talking to you at this point? Is he cooperating? Is he explaining?
I do not know the answer to that.
The security detail, were they Secret Service or Capitol Police?
Suspect's house, is there anywhere else this investigation is taking place?
We have secured the scene, and we're getting through the logical investigative steps at this point as far
You had
as
said
cars.
you had said you don't think this is an assassination attempt, and yet it would appear that members of Congress were targeted.
No, I did not say that. What I said is that we are not sure at this moment. It's still early on in the investigation, and we're working through it.
Is your suspect a local man, or is he from elsewhere?
Do not know yet.
Don't know even if he's from the region?
No, ma'am.
Can you clarify
Among
what
the crimes that were not before he was fired?
Say again?
Do you know if the suspect approached lawmakers in the parking lot and asked whether or not they were Republican or Democratic members?
I'm not aware of that, no, ma'am.
Sir, you said earlier that it wasn't an assassination attempt. Can you just clarify for us? Was this
Okay, I will. If I said that, I misspoke. It's too early in the investigation to say one way or the other.
Can you confirm his appearance? That there's some reports that he had white hair, others that he had dark hair. Can you just tell us what his ID, what he looked like?
No, I'm not aware of what his appearance looks like.
Just the last couple questions. Slater, given the fact you've laid out, obviously, how much you don't know at this point, how much you're investigating,
Right.
how how, with all due respect, can you and the chief and the governor say that if you don't know that the community is safe and this area is safe, how can you rule out, sir, that there is not a broader threat situation?
From the early on in the investigation where we are right now, we think we have a really good handle on it. We just want to run out a couple details before we confirm other additional stuff.
So can you
Fair
tell
enough?
us about the weapon and whether there was more than one?
I cannot, no ma'am.
Could we ask the Capitol Hill Police Chief?
I do not know the kind
Sir,
of
how many
weapon.
times was that
Could we ask the
suspect
Capitol
shot?
Hill Police Chief, sir, can we get an update on your officers who engaged the suspect? We understand that they were wounded in the line of duty. Can you give us an update on how they're doing?
Certainly, yes. They are being treated at a local hospital, and the injuries do not appear to be life-threatening at this point.
Did you
Where
say
were they
good
hit, sir?
condition when you listed their condition, sir?
I would categorize from what I've been informed that they're in good condition.
And can you describe what they did, how they engaged the suspect?
Well, we received reports of gunfire through our communications, and then we coordinated with the Alexandria police. So obviously, from the early instance of this incident, it was shots were fired.
But your officers engaged the suspect, yes?
That's my understanding.
Where were your officers Where were your officers at when they started firing on the gunman? Were they in the field? Or were
We're
they
not. This
outside?
is really too preliminary to go into the details of the investigation. Suffice it to say that officers acted, I believe, heroically today, and they're in good condition, and we look for a rapid recovery. So, and with that said, I'll turn it back over
One
to.
officer, male, one female, is that correct?
How many were injured?
I'm not going to comment on the names, numbers, until I'm reasonably sure that next of kin are notified.
What about the investigation that tells you anything about the motivation here and whether it was political?
We're not going to go into any kind of motivation. Much too preliminary in the
But
investigation.
anything in the indication, who he shot, what he was doing? There was some.
Again,
before?
it's too early on. When the facts come to light, we'll share what we can share. Thank you.
Can I have one question? Is the fifth person the victim or is the fifth person the shooter?
We're not going to comment on that. Like the chief said, it's significantly early, and so
Police department
Are
said
there
that
4
the
victims or
fifth
5 victims?
person injured was the shooter. Is that correct?
I'm not going to confirm
But
that.
you can confirm that there were 5 people injured.
I'm not going to confirm that either.
Chief, you said that earlier. Is that
No, there were 5 people transported by public emergency medical personnel to hospitals.
Was the suspect one of them?
I'm not going to comment on that. That's an ongoing investigation issue. But let me comment to the question about the safe community piece. We have several things going on. The police department, after we secured the scene here, did an awful lot of work in the community. We walked the community, we looked for secondary issues, we brought in additional resources and assets so that we could deal with any possible secondary thing. The question that was directed about the investigation, if in fact it reveals something else, then we will certainly respond to that. But right now, every indication in this city is that this is an isolated incident, but the investigation will indeed be long-term. And let me also do a thank you to the agencies that assisted us and as we canvassed the neighborhoods and looked around the community to make sure this was safe. And that would include the Virginia State Police, and the Alexandria Sheriff's Office, and a lot of folks even in the neighborhood came out to kind of make sure that we were doing the right thing.
Were there any other minor injuries?
There were 5 people transported by
But any other
5. I won't go into that.
Is being reported if we don't
Well,
know
that,
if 4 or 5
I can't speak to the information that the others are reporting, folks.
But any other
5
injuries,
people were
minor
transported.
injuries? Was anybody treated on
I
the
can't
scene
speak
for
to that. I'll
injuries?
refer to the FBI on that information.
The governor.
Are any of the other
Can
injuries
we just ask
life-threatening?
you, from your point of view, on a broader level, and your knowledge about the National Capital Area, your view about the safety of the area? Did you have any information prior from any investigatory agencies that there might be a threat in this area? There might be a threat directed towards Congress. How satisfied are you now, as you stand here, that you have a handle on what happened here and that there is no additional threat in Washington?
I can tell you from the Virginia's perspective, from my Secretary of Public Safety, Brian Moran, who's here with me, and VDEM, we had no prior information that would lead us to believe that anything like this was going to occur.
Governor, in general, do you think anything more needs to do to protect politicians?
Well, let me say this. I think we need to do more to protect all of our citizens. I have long advocated, this is not what today is about, but there are too many guns on the street. We lose 93 million Americans a day to gun violence. I mean, I've long talked about this. Background check, shutting down gun show loopholes. That's not for today's discussion, but it's not just about politicians. We worry about this every day for all of our citizens.
Why, if it's not the day for it, why are you bringing it up? People are going to criticize that you're bringing up gun control at this time.
Well, I'm talking about this every single day. This is a very serious issue. I just came with Colonel Flaherty recently. We just buried one of our great state troopers, a special agent, with a wife and 3 young children, needless, senseless. So we've got to look at this. But I'm not going to get anywhere near the investigation. The FBI is leading this. But this, obviously, with 93 million people a day, it's just something.
Sir, just check. 93 million is a big number. Did you mean to say 93 million? That's a big number. Are you sure about
93 million, 93 individuals a day.
93 individuals
a day.
How confident are you there aren't any other planned in this area? How confident are you this was a one and only and there couldn't be others?
I can just tell you from Virginia's perspective, we monitor all this. We had no threats before. We're not concurring looking at that. As it relates to this incident, this is totally up to the FBI and the local law enforcement.
Sir, there's so much acrimony right now in the political discourse and dialogue in this country. There's so much back and forth and venomous discussion. Are you concerned that that climate in any way contributed to what we saw today, or do you have thoughts about the climate we're in?
I can't answer on today. The investigation is going on. I do think things have become very partisan, very hardened in this country today. We got to begin to work together to get things done. We're the greatest nation on earth, and there has been too much, I believe, raw discourse in this country today that's pulling people apart as general, and we need to work together to bring people together, to work together. As governor, I worry about economic development, education, transportation, basic things that people here in Virginia want, and that's what we need to focus our energies on.
Thank you.
Open up a new bipartisan dialogue on gun control?
We do not have another briefing scheduled